Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The basketball world is absolutely buzzing right now. And if you've been anywhere near the NBA rumor mill lately, you've definitely heard it. Whispers that Stephen Curry, yes, that's Stephen Curry, could be leaving the Golden State Warriors in 2026. At first, it sounded impossible, almost laughable. How could the man who is the Warriors, the face of the franchise, even think about walking away? But in the last few weeks, reports have started piling up from insiders, team sources, and people close to Curry suggesting that the unthinkable might actually be on the horizon. After over a decade of championships, MVPs, and highlight reels that changed basketball forever, the idea that Steph could take his talents elsewhere feels surreal. Fans are torn between denial and curiosity, wondering if this is a passing rumor or the first spark of a massive shift in the NBA landscape. When you think about it, it kind of makes sense that Curry might be considering a new chapter. The Warriors dynasty that once felt unstoppable has started to show cracks over the last few seasons. Klay Thompson's injuries, Draymond Green's volatility, roster changes, and young prospects struggling to fill veteran shoes. It all adds up. And let's not forget, Curry is 37 by 2026. He's still elite, still dropping threes from the logo like it's nothing, but the grind of carrying a franchise year after year takes its toll. Insiders say that while he still loves the Bay, he's been quietly reflecting on his legacy, on what's next, and on whether staying loyal to Golden State forever is truly how he wants his story to end. Some people close to the situation claim that Curry's decision isn't about money. It's about fulfillment. He's achieved everything possible with the Warriors: 4 rings, 2 MVPs, and a permanent seat in the Hall of Fame. But for a competitor like Steph, sometimes the challenge itself becomes the motivation. Imagine him joining a young, up-and-coming roster that needs leadership, a team where he could prove that his greatness isn't just tied to one system or one franchise. Think of how LeBron left Cleveland for Miami, then came back as a hero. Maybe Curry wants that kind of arc, a new mountain to climb. Rumor has it that he's been watching how stars like Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard handle their own late career moves, learning what worked and what didn't. Of course, the Warriors organization isn't blind to all of this. Behind the scenes, they're said to be scrambling, trying to figure out how to convince their cornerstone to stay. There's talk of offering Curry a lifetime deal, perhaps something similar to what the Lakers gave Kobe Bryant in his final years, a contract that goes beyond the game, anchoring him to the franchise forever. Yet, some sources say Curry's interest isn't in a farewell tour or symbolic contract. He wants to keep winning. And the uncomfortable truth is that Golden State might not have the firepower anymore to compete with younger, deeper teams like Denver or Boston. He's reportedly frustrated with how the team handled free agency and how little they've evolved since their prime. Fans in the Bay Area, meanwhile, are in panic mode. Social media is flooded with speculation, edits, and emotional tributes as if the breakup has already happened. Some fans insist it's all smoke and mirrors, while others say it's time to face reality. Dynasties don't last forever. If Curry does leave, it wouldn't just be a sports story. It would be a cultural moment. This is the man who transformed basketball into a three-point revolution, who made kids believe that skill could beat size. The idea of him wearing another jersey feels like seeing Jordan in a Wizards uniform all over again. Nobody's ready for that, but the whispers are getting louder each day. Still, part of what makes this rumor so intriguing is how quiet Curry himself has been. He's not denying anything, but he's not confirming it either. Every time he's asked about his future, he just smiles and says he's focused on the present, which, let's be honest, is classic Steph. But silence can speak volumes, especially in the NBA, where players love to control their narratives. And insiders claim that his camp is already mapping out potential fits, with names like Charlotte, his hometown team, floating around. The story is far from confirmed, but one thing's clear. Something is shifting in the world of Stephen Curry, and the league can feel it. If 2026 really marks the end of Stephen Curry's time with the Golden State Warriors, We're witnessing the final act of one of basketball's greatest love stories. The relationship between Curry and the Warriors isn't just about numbers or trophies. It's about identity. For an entire generation, the Golden State brand became synonymous with Curry's smile, his swagger, and those impossible threes that broke defenses and logic. But like every great era in sports, there comes a point when nostalgia collides with reality. Behind the chemistry and the championships, there's a sense that both sides might be ready for something new. The Warriors want to rebuild around youth. Curry wants to win now. It's not personal, it's evolution. And maybe, just maybe, the best way to honor everything they've built together is to let it end gracefully. One intriguing angle in all of this is the potential destinations being whispered about. The most emotional pick, of course, is the Charlotte Hornets. That's where Curry grew up, where his father, Del Curry, made his name, and where Steph's basketball journey began. Returning there to close the circle would be poetic. But from a competitive standpoint, Charlotte's nowhere near contention. Another team mentioned is the New York Knicks, who have the market, the ambition, and the cash to pull off a blockbuster signing. Imagine Curry lighting up Madison Square Garden every night. It would be basketball theater. Then there's a dark horse, the Miami Heat. With Pat Riley's legendary pitch meetings and a culture built around discipline and winning, Miami could be the place where Curry writes his final championship chapter. Some analysts believe Curry's decision will hinge on how the Warriors handle the next 2 seasons. If the front office shows commitment, trades, signings, and smart draft moves, maybe he stays. But if the team continues to stagnate, the door opens wider for an exit. Curry's camp reportedly wants assurances that he won't spend his twilight years fighting for play-in spots. That's not how legends bow out. There's also talk about how his body will hold up. As much as Curry defies age, he's been dealing with nagging injuries, and his game relies on constant motion. The thought of reducing his workload in a more balanced roster could be appealing. After all, he's earned the right to choose how his story ends. Financially, the move would shake the league. Curry leaving Golden State means sponsors, TV networks, and global markets shifting their focus. The Warriors, valued at billions, would lose their biggest asset, not just on the court, but as a brand. Curry's image, his charisma, his connection to fans worldwide, it's irreplaceable. Even if they draft the next big star, it won't fill that void immediately. Meanwhile, wherever Curry lands, ticket sales, jersey sales, and media attention would skyrocket. Think of when LeBron joined the Lakers. Suddenly, every game was an event. Curry's move would create that same ripple effect, maybe even bigger, because of how universally beloved he is. For the fans, though, this is personal. They remember the baby-faced assassin who brought hope to Oakland, who stayed loyal when nobody believed in the Warriors, who made history in Oracle Arena. They watched him redefine what was possible, not through brute force, but through skill, joy, and humility. The idea that he could walk away feels like losing part of their identity. Yet, deep down, even the most devoted supporters know that legends evolve. If Curry leaves, it won't be betrayal, it'll be destiny. Because maybe the greatest players don't just belong to one team. They belong to the game itself. And so, as 2026 approaches, the whispers will only grow louder. Every interview, every tweet, every look during press conferences will be analyzed for hidden meaning. The world will be waiting to see whether Stephen Curry stays in a bay or takes one last leap of faith somewhere new. Either way, one thing's certain. The NBA will never be the same. Whether he ends his journey where it began or opens a brand new chapter, the story of Stephen Curry is far from over. It's just getting ready for its next, unforgettable twist. Whispers suggest that the Warriors' leadership may be strategically considering measures to channel Kuminga's energy more constructively, emphasizing mentorship, accountability, and reinforcement of team norms. Reports imply that these strategies could involve structured dialogue sessions, rotation adjustments, and deliberate pairing with veteran players who model the behaviors and attitudes expected within the organization. Analysts argue that such interventions reflect the delicate balance of integrating youthful talent while preserving the cohesion and culture that underpin elite performance. Fans, meanwhile, are captivated by the unfolding drama, dissecting interactions and forming theories about the potential trajectory of the season based on perceived locker room dynamics. Social media debates have exploded, with narratives ranging from defense of Kuminga's youth and potential to criticism over perceived disruptions, creating a complex web of perception that influences both fan expectations and media framing. Observers suggest that if the rumored situation is accurate, the Warriors may be navigating a high-stakes scenario where cultural integrity, player development, and competitive performance are intertwined. The narrative positions Kuminga as both an opportunity and a challenge, symbolizing the tension between individual talent and collective responsibility. Analysts emphasize that even subtle influences can have outsized effects in high-performing teams, highlighting the importance of leadership, communication, and proactive management. The rumor has thus become a lens through which fans and commentators examine the broader themes of mentorship, influence, and cohesion in professional sports, elevating what might otherwise be an isolated story into a larger cultural discussion about teamwork, personality, and success at the highest levels. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. According to some sources, the alleged friction may also have long-term implications, influencing future strategic decisions regarding player development, roster composition, and leadership roles. Analysts speculate that the Warriors could prioritize cultural fit alongside talent acquisition, learning from the perceived challenges presented by Kuminga's integration into the team. Rumors suggest that veteran leadership may be more closely involved in guiding younger players, ensuring alignment with organizational expectations and reinforcing norms of communication, accountability, and professionalism. Fans are intensely engaged, monitoring every interaction and statement, constructing a narrative that blurs the line between observation and speculation. Media coverage has amplified these perceptions, framing Kuminga's influence as a test of both individual character and team resilience, generating debates about how much weight to assign to rumor versus observable evidence. Some insiders emphasize that this situation highlights the complexity of managing elite talent, where skill alone does not guarantee seamless integration into a high-performing culture. Observers note that even minor behavioral patterns, when magnified over a season, can affect rotations, chemistry, and ultimately results, underscoring the importance of leadership and proactive management. The rumor casts a spotlight on the Warriors' internal dynamics, prompting reflection on how teams balance potential, personality, and performance. As speculation continues, the story of Kuminga's alleged influence has become an evolving narrative that captures both the imagination of fans and the analytical focus of professionals, raising questions about the interplay between talent and culture in one of the NBA's most scrutinized organizations. As the narrative unfolds, some sources assert that the alleged locker room tensions could serve as a defining storyline for the Warriors season, with implications that extend beyond individual behavior to encompass broader questions about team identity, culture, and resilience. Analysts suggest that the integration of young talent like Kuminga requires a careful combination of mentorship, guidance, and cultural reinforcement, and that any perceived misalignment can ripple throughout the organization, affecting communication, collaboration, and performance under pressure. Fans, social media commentators, and analysts are collectively dissecting every visible interaction, generating a feedback loop in which perception increasingly shapes discourse, speculation, and expectations. Rumors suggest that the coaching staff may implement strategic measures to manage influence, including structured mentoring, targeted rotation management, and close monitoring of interactions, balancing the cultivation of potential against the maintenance of established cohesion. Observers argue that these interventions, if accurate, reflect the nuanced challenge of leadership in professional sports, where psychological, relational, and cultural dimensions are as crucial as physical skill. The narrative surrounding Kuminga has transformed him into a symbol of both promise and potential disruption, illustrating the complexities inherent in integrating emerging talent into a successful, tightly knit organization. As the season progresses, fans and analysts will continue to monitor the evolving story, weighing rumor against reality and contemplating whether the Warriors can preserve their culture, maintain performance, and manage the dynamic interplay between individual potential and collective cohesion. The situation, whether rooted in fact or perception, offers a compelling lens into the challenges of elite team management, highlighting the subtle forces that can shape the trajectory of even the most celebrated franchises. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.